Hey guys, this is D&D, aka Dark Frozen Depths, back with more Kamihime project. I'm still a little bit sick, but my voice is good enough in order for me to really get this video out. But I've been asked a while back which happens to be the better Eilons to go after, and to be quite honest, just to explain things a little bit more right now, you can honestly use anything in the game, and you should be able to clear at least ultimate level content. Now, the reason behind that is because of the fact that you can increase their levels, max limit break them, and all that. Like right now, I'm trying to level up some weapons. Like you see, my Ixig blade is like level 113, but I'm doing skill levels as well. And that's the whole thing. It's like it depends on what you use. Now, clearly, some things are better than others. You're going to want R above N, you're going to want SR above R, and then you're going to want SSR above anything else. But that's the whole thing. You can use anything. The key is just trying to find out what's stronger than others. Obviously, rarity is definitely one factor, but given what I found out, assault tends to be valued more than defender. I don't know how valued pride is, but we got a shot at another pride weapon. And honestly, if you get multiple pride weapons, it might actually help you out. Because pride's still an attack power boost, but it's a low one compared to assault. Now, when it comes to I think that was only level 3. But when it comes to yes, level 4. When it comes to anything like, say, some weapons have 2 abilities and some have 1, that's more preference, but I personally like having multiple abilities because when one gets skill level 20, the other also gets it. So, for instance, the weapon I'm trying to level up right now, it's almost at level 20. So, that said, it's going to end up being a full increase to, it's going to be at least a 20% increase to both attack and HP. Like, see, it's already 18. When I feed it these two SR, it's going to go even higher. But that's the whole thing with that. It's a matter of preference. Now that Shine of Soul's an SR level boost. So, but that's the whole thing about this. Now, when I do get it to 20, it's going to be 23% attack power and 20% more HP. That's kind of why I like the double abilities more than the single ones, because you get some of both. And then some weapons also have SSR level stuff. Like I remember, I think Tsukiyomi's had it. If I'm correct, Tsukiyomi's had it. Like, see, there's a few I didn't even use, like this Pride weapon. I'm not too big on Pride weapons personally, but that's the whole thing. I think this is the one that had it. Yeah, Luminous Defender. See, it has an SSR version of the HP increase, meaning it will be 26% at max skill level, and then this will be 20% attack power with it. Those I tend to say to get the double ones over the single ones because you get multiple abilities, but again, it's still preference. Some like the straight up assault, and then others like me like getting some of both. Because if you can get a lot of the double weapons, you can start getting teams that can have a lot of very good perks. Because at the very least, if you get 10 SSR that all have double abilities like that, then you're going to end up having at least 200% HP and 200% attack all in one. So that's why I say double seems to be better to me. But then we get to the Eilons. And the Eilons is the interesting thing. Because, for instance, I have her at level 100. Her stats are some of the best, at least among any mines. But she gives thunder characters attack 60%, meaning if they had 3,000 attack, then the 60% is going to increase it to, say, about 4,800. So that's what's going to happen with that. However, say that same 3,000 attack is doing like 10,000 damage. then if that was a 60% damage increase, then it becomes 16,000. That's why I said the elemental attack tends to be better than the character attack. But the thing is, you can still use whatever. I had to clear that up because everybody has their uses. Like for instance, this one, she increases HP. Like she increases everybody's HP. So if you need more health, there you go right there. But here's where real good usefulness lies. She's an attack buffer when you summon her. So it may not even be the Adolin effect, but more the summon attack that's more worth it. Again, sorry, I'm still a little bit sick. But that's the whole thing. I used some SR level Adolins for a while because of the same thing. Like there is one that did attack down, which was like a 6 or 7 turn wait between debuffs. Like here's a very good instance of some stuff right here. Like she's character attack 50%, but also increases your burst streak damage, which means the extra hit that you get for doing burst streaking, which is like full burst or 4 streak or 3 streak, those extra hits, they get 20% more damage, and that's a lot. So when you're using burst setups, this is a very good add-on to have, actually. And then the attack power is pretty high, too. However, when it comes to, like, overall damage, then someone like this one, Fafnir, 40% water and fire attack. So that means that your damage that you deal between water or fire damage is going to go up by 40%. And then she also increases everybody's attack and defense as she summons. She's just good all around. But that's the whole thing about it. It depends on preference. Now, say for instance the Lilms. A lot of people say the Lilms aren't too good because of the fact that you have, like, just look at the criteria, period, point blank. First off, you have to have 3 elements in your team, which will really scatter your damage if you're trying to focus your damage, because you know everything has an element to it in this game. But say I had 2 of her, like access to 2 of her, mine and a friend's, and say they're both the same exact setup, like level 72 break limits. That's 160 attack power to my fire characters. And then, like I said, I could do Beelzebub for a rampaging buff, and then get somebody else I can sip and buff their attack power or whatnot. And that could spike my fire character's damage up at the cost of the 2 characters. It almost makes up for it. But that's the whole thing. It's not elemental attack, so some people already look down on it. And then you're losing 2 elements off of it, so it's looked down even more. But here's what I like about her, and this is why I say she's still got some use. Her summon ability increases everybody's fire attack. In fact, some people also got on her about the fact that her stats are lower than most other Adolins. The Willems all have this same function, where you need 3 elements to get an attack power boost. Only the Phantom one's a lot easier to work with, because it allows a bit more freedom with stuff. But that's only if you really want that Adolin effect. And quite frankly, it's still better than SR level stuff. Like, I would definitely still use her over the disasters that you get from the raids. But here's the thing. This one thing keeps her worth, because that's a very huge fire attack boost. I think it's like 20 or 30% more fire damage you deal for the next few turns. So that's why she's useful. That's why all elements are useful, because they all do that for their own element. Except for the Phantom element one, which is just an attack power boost. She just gives you an attack buff that's in its own slot. So, like I said, they all have their uses. You just need to really get into it. You just need to know how to use your team. Because that's the biggest thing about this game, too. Because as you've seen, I have access to a lot of different Adolins. It's the same case with weapons. It's the same case with Kamihime. Especially in the aspect of Kamihime, you need to know who does what. Because, like for instance, I was using Nurgle for a while, and she's a R Kamihime. Here's the reason why. She's got a debuffer right here, the debuff defense. And it's a pretty strong one, too. But she also has a chance to nullify damage to herself and double attack rate. That's just a bonus. But that debuff is one of the main reasons why I've been using her for a long while until I started getting other characters that could probably do the same thing. Or sometimes been flat out ignoring it. In fact, it's the reason why I use this one in a Ragnarok fight. I think it's against Kyuki. Because she's got attack and defense down for an enemy. And it's a B frame one. It's on the same level as Sniper Shot, which is Artanion's ability. So I got somebody that can do Artanion's debuff while healing everybody, even though the heal is small. That's why I use her. Like, even R characters have their worth if you use them right. It's just that SR tends to be better. Like, from what I heard, there's a new one that I just recently pulled. I think she's in the water section. I gotta find where that is. Yeah, she's almost there. Her. Like, I haven't started leveling her, but I already broke limit her a few times just to try and get her scenes and stuff. But all this seems to be focused on herself and an ally. So it's only 2 characters getting a buff out of your total team of 5. But it can still help when you're specifically trying to bump somebody's damage way up, or specific healing in this case. Like, they all have their uses. Some are a little bit niche, but that's the whole thing about it. But granted, there are some characters that are just flat out revered across the board. Like, for instance, no surprise about this one. She's got one of the most powerful heals in the game. It heals a lot of HP and removes an affliction. It gets even more broken when we were finally able to awaken her. Then this one, which I'm going to use in this upcoming these upcoming videos that I have for the raid fights, I'm going to nullify an enemy's buff while dealing damage to them. And then this is a C frame attack down. Remember, debuffs tend to go in the like certain buffs and debuffs, like the attack and defense, tend to go in multiple frames. So for instance, and it's the same case with stuff like fire attack and fire defense, but they tend to go in multiple frames. A frame seems to be the default frame when you're only doing one. B frame is usually when you do 2 debuffs at once, like attack and defense. While C frame tends to be only special characters like Soul. And then there's a win character too. Caspiel. And she happens to be one of the ones I highly suggest you get anyways. I guess it's on the 2nd page. No, it's on the 3rd page. But yeah, Caspiel, here she is right here. I highly suggest you get her, and she's an R character. Because it's a stackable attack down. That's in its own frame. It's the other reason why I suggest getting Sevarog too, especially now that we can awaken her. Because Sevarog with the right setup can get 40% attack power increase on her own due to stackable attack frames. Now, I don't know if stackable is in its own thing or if it's compiled to the total limit, because there's a limit to how much you can buff and debuff, regardless of frames. It's 50% when it comes to debuff, so if Caspiel somehow managed to get all 9 stacks of this, that's 45% of your debuffing right there. And you just need another 5% for the time being. But she also got a buff that is on par with Cassiopeia, which is the best healer you can get from the souls. But that's debatable because a lot of people like Andromeda. Andromeda's level defense buff. But Cassiopeia is a good one too because of chaos magic. But anyways, that's the whole thing about that. And then stuff you get from like weapons. Like for instance, let's go to my let's go back to that exit weapon. No. This one. Because this one has it. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, see, when I use a burst with this weapon, all my fire characters get an attack power increase. And that's in its own frame, which happens to be the summon a Dolan frame or from burst attacks and all that, which means it's in its own separate fire attack, meaning that I can use this plus there's a fire Kamihime, a SR1 named Agni, who can buff everybody's fire attack. Those two buffs can stay in their own thing. Now, fire attack is in its own separate thing from normal attack, so that means you can get like 50% increase in attack power and then get 50% increase in fire attack. That will stack on top of each other. It won't sip and prevent one from doing the other. Unlike Senum saying getting like 20% attack down in A frame, 20% in B frame, and then 20% in C frame, you only get 50% between all three of them. But that's the whole thing about this video. This is just to get a little bit more clarity in things. The biggest misconception about this game is the fact that you have to get stupidly strong, like as strong as humanly possible. You can't do that. It is unfeasible to do that unless you're like a millionaire or something. Reason being is because of the simple fact that you have to grind out every freaking event to its completion. You need to get every Kamihime in the book, along with their weapons, all the way up to max event break. You need to get all this stuff to skill level 20, and you still got to pull enough plus items in order to get every single thing to plus 99, including Kamihime themselves, because they can also get it too from weapons. That is unfeasible. And that still didn't even get in accessories. Like, that's unfeasible. Point is, this video is the fact that when I do a lot of these guides or hints or whatnot, they're there to give you some options. They're not there to get you as strong as humanly possible. They're just giving you stuff to really look out for. Because that's the main thing about this game. It still depends on what it wants to feed you. Like, I managed to get fed Sevarog's weapon 3 times from the gacha. Right here. Some people don't even have her once. So, that said, it all depends on your luck. It really does. It, like, seriously depends on your luck. Because I got Kuchelang's weapon 3 times. I got Gaia's weapon 3 times. I got Thor's weapon twice. And those are all gacha weapons. I got this from the gacha twice too before they removed it from there because non-kami weapons aren't there anymore. But that's the whole thing. It depends on what luck wants to feed you. Simple as that. Now, there's going to be a little bit more stuff too that I have to go into, especially this one instance, because I found out that we got the Ragnarok Wind raid, but I also found out that the trade shop's not fully updated. I don't know if that's true or not. So I'll have to look into that a little bit more. But just to show you guys this one thing real quick, because some of these are definitely good to look out for because they'll boost the crap out of your souls. So like these weapons right here are automatic already like looking pretty strong. But from what I found out, you don't get the you don't have these. You have to like luck out and get these regalias, I do believe. I don't know. But from what I'm finding out though, these things are very, very, very good. Like for instance, let's go check one. All allies get wind attack up. And that's an exclusive skill for Arthur. But then they got this one where it's all their HP gets massively spiked. And it's the same case for these. Now, you also gotta keep this thing in mind too. When you break limit them, they get stronger effects too. Like, I'll try to look up all that stuff and do it in a separate video, but it's a permanent Ragnarok raid for the Wind Ragnarok. And like the wind disaster is going to be very hard. Keep that in mind. I think I looked them up and they have 16 million HP. But anyways, you're going to want to be very strong in order to take that on. I think it's stronger than the Ragnarok ones you get in the events, so you got to be careful on that one. But that, excuse me. That said, again, I will do a video on that when it comes. But anyways, next video definitely should be some raid battles from this. I'm just still spending a little bit of time trying to level up my weapons because, like I said, I almost got one at skill level 20. That'll be my first skill level 20 weapon. But anyways, this video is going on long enough. More Kamihime projects going to come pretty soon, probably within the next day or two. And I'll definitely try to get some info on the Ragnarok stuff too, because I'm not focused on win per se, but I am looking forward to the light one. Because again, I'm maining a light team, which again is preference. Because I got a lot of stuff that gears me towards a very strong light team anyways. But anyways, that's all I got for this, guys. Take care.